St. Andrew's College is an affirming ministry of the United Church of Canada. And as we prepare for this No Gala Gala, we acknowledge that we are on Treaty 6 territory and the homeland of the Métis. This verbal acknowledgement is one concrete action that symbolizes our commitment to the work of reconciliation.
To you, the supporters and friends of St. Andrew's College, welcome to our first No Gala Gala. Behind me, in the center of the chapel where the worshiping community, the learning community gathers once a week, is this tapestry created by the artist Phyllis Baker from Grosvenor Park United Church, and this stained glass window that embraces us every single time we come and worship. I'd like to let you know that as we engage in this time and this event for the first time, that this rainbow, these lights that reflect throughout this sanctuary during our times of worship, is a reminder that each and every one of you is one of God's blessings, one of God's colors and notes. And as we walk through this time of an unscripted conversation about the music of musician in residence Tannis Schmidt, I pray that this will be a time of both entertainment, of learning, and of reflection, and that at the end of this time, as we prepare to just let it go, that you feel refreshed to walk out into the world as blessed beings of Creator. So friends, before we begin in this time of conversation and music, I do want to take a moment and to pause and to recognize that the reason we're doing this No Gala Gala is because for all of us, here and around the globe, the world changed in March. And I'm not certain, as I'm sure you're not certain, whether whatever was normal will ever be normal again. I'm aware that some of you are watching this on your own, some are in families, some are in congregations, and some of you have probably lost those you love, your jobs, and I want you to know that this worshiping community, this learning community, this place called St. Andrew's College has been and continues to hold you in prayer and light. We pray that in this time of challenge that you are able to hold those in your midst who are hurting. And we pray that if you are hurting, you have those in your midst who are able to hold you. This is not an easy time, but as Creator reminds us, we are not alone. And that will be hopefully something that you hear in this time of musical conversation. Thank you for being here. And so friends, before we take this time and sit and converse with music, I just wanted to share a little bit of an update for you, our supporters, about where the college finds itself 6 months into COVID. For the last year and a half, we have been preparing and engaging in a strategic planning process of discerning where our mission is called in this changing world, and it's been a blessed time to have the community come together to ask some core central questions about who we are, and to be able to identify that as I opened, referring to the rainbows behind me, that we are a community that expands our theology, that makes intention to say who's in and who's out. And so as we're in this time of strategic planning, I just want to share with you that as of July 1st, for the first time ever, we celebrate that members of the Saskatoon Theological Union, we all now share a home in St. Andrew's building. On July 1st, our kin and sisters and brothers from the College of Emmanuel and St. Chad and the Lutheran Theological Seminary moved in. And as we begin this time of coming together, when our libraries are integrated, and I would offer, I think, probably the largest integrated library, at least in the prairies, if not Canada. I still have to look into that. That there are amazing opportunities before us, from resource sharing, from curriculum possibilities, and on a larger scale, we're in deep conversation with our University of Saskatchewan counterparts, in particular St. Thomas More College, about how do we, in this time of change that we are all experiencing, come together and share the good news in order to nurture the social good outside of these walls and in our lives. So I invite you to grab a cup of tea, perhaps a glass of wine, to take some time, make yourself comfortable, and as we begin and engage in this conversation between the college, leadership preparation, the music of Tannis Schmidt, know that we are so very grateful that you are joining us for this first No Gala Gala, of which I pray there will be many more. Blessings.
Awakening is an awesome, an amazing experience. I composed this little musical mantra in the late 1900s. And the words unfolded when my family relocated. It felt like a new phase in life, kind of a version of transformation, process of metamorphosis. And in my day thinking and mind wandering, this mantra appears to me to either take me away or bring me back. Awaken to the birth of life. Awaken to the play of life. Awaken to the joy of life. Gently. Awaken to the song of life. Awaken to the life of life. Awaken to the source of life. I feel blessed and very thankful to have lived right across Treaty 6 territory. Primarily the Melfort, Tisdale, and Saskatoon areas. And I think of this territory as home. Home is familiar. Home is comfort. Home is attachment. And maybe longing. And for me, home is Saskatchewan. Saskatchewan, where the skies come alive, a living, breathing vision of prairie. Saskatchewan, where sun calls, bird songs thrive, breathtaking land of natural artistry. The graceful prairie lily and the lofty white birch tree help provide the setting for a wildlife-rich prairie. The scenery is magical, each season so divine. The lush green summer, sparkling winters, beauty and light. Saskatchewan, where the skies come alive, a living, breathing vision of prairie. Saskatchewan, where sun calls, bird songs thrive, breathtaking land of natural artistry. From the sunrise in the morning to the harvest moon at night, across the sky in evening, watch the northern lights take flight. The virtues of Saskatchewan unfolding naturally, create a place of wonder simply, effortlessly. Saskatchewan, where the skies come alive, a living, breathing vision of prairie. Saskatchewan, where sun calls, bird songs thrive, breathtaking land of natural artistry. Breath-giving land of natural artistry.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you for that song, Tannis. I was thinking as you were playing, faculty just met, and as I've shared with at the opening today, the college is in a time of strategic dreaming and missional discernment. And one of the things that came out in that conversation is how this place we call Saskatchewan has this mixed blessing of being in the middle of nowhere in the reality of theological education, and at the same time the values that underpin it are what keep bringing students to this place where the beauty of the landscape is both inspiring and at times austere. And it creates values that I think are unique to this place. And so hearing your songs celebrate the beauty just sort of reminded me of that idea in Scripture that creation is awful, and that full of awe comes out in that song in a way that reminds me, as this new academic year begins, the excitement that is this geography for learning.
It is, and this year, 2021, will bring some difference to that, because a lot of the students won't be here per se. And sometimes when we're in this place, we pick up that type of energy. So I think it's good to give this vision of Saskatchewan to the students and others who maybe can't be right in this location, so that they can literally taste it when they're on Zoom or any other platform. I certainly believe all of what you said to be true. It's the land itself offers so much. In spring of 2018, here in the space of this chapel, Lord Calvert, the former principal of St. Andrew's College, delivered his final sermon on servant leadership. And from that sermon, I plucked and tweaked a few words. I could just hear a bit of music in the background as he was speaking, and my mind came to me. God's word needs a voice again, now. A lead voice that honors soft whisper voices, angry, passionate voices. A voice that honors all voices that come from a deep-seated place of love. God's word needs a voice to speak in this time, a voice of many voices to speak. God's word needs a voice to speak in this time, a voice of many voices to speak. A voice of compassion, a voice of caring, a voice of justice, a voice of comfort, a voice of understanding. God's word needs a voice in this time. God's word needs a voice in this time. God's word needs a voice to speak in this time. A voice of many voices to speak. A voice of many voices to speak. Thank you.
Thank you. Compassion, caring, justice, comfort, and understanding. Every time I hear that song, it reminds me of the importance in this time of how we prepare and invite people to become leaders in the church. Right now I've been working on a blog series called Righteous Leadership, and it has me thinking about what do we do? How do we help people who are feeling a call into discipleship as a leader to be present in a world that's always hurting, without being overwhelmed, and being that voice, which this song just speaks to me so clearly about the responsibility and the beauty of being in this chapel, and recognizing that for over 100 years, students have sat in this space trying to understand how they are called to be God's voice, humbly and with compassion. And so this song, just every time I hear it, it's almost like a rallying cry for me.
And having the students come and bearing witness to students preaching within this space as I accompany them as part of the worship service, the voices that have spoken for so many other voices are so full of love and courage and strength, and I feel blessed to be able to support those voices. Some of us use those voices in other ways, and for me that way is through the keyboard and through song, and to be able to support the students who speak and are able to carry their voices out into this kind of a world that we live in. I think to be able to offer support to that, because as you said, we need those strong voices of compassion and caring and justice and understanding. We need those to be taken, and they go out of the space with that, and it's a joy to be able to support that. When we close our eyes, I can't help but think we must wonder what continues to generate our thoughts and our being. Consciousness is truly a mystery. I have many songs still unfinished, not abandoned, just in waiting for their coming to be. We ourselves are perhaps left unfinished, knowing mystery will take over. This mystery. It's a gift of wonder. It's a gift of awe. It's a time to experience emotions raw. It's a time to come together in perfect harmony. It's a time to reflect on all our past memories. It's a time to notice all the sights there are to see. This mystery means to me what it never used to be. It's a gift of wonder. It's a gift of awe. It's a time to experience emotions raw. It's a time to
This mystery, every time you sing this song, and I remember the first time we did this one, I imagine or I hear mystery as first as something outside of us, as if holy mystery is something separate. And yet the last line always gets me. This mystery believes, sees, speaks. It breathes in you and me. And each time we've done this, I've obviously had a different response to the song, but today I'm thinking of the faculty. I'm thinking of the people who make up this current faculty. I'm thinking about the faculty who have been here for the duration of this college's history. And they interpret, they hear the mystery and create knowledge. They offer back to the church and to the world ways to understand this mystery that we are intimately connected with. And the way that this song unfolds, harmony, memories, never used to be, but in mystery, we create anew. Just really leads me to celebrate the scholarship that comes out of this place. And so just very appreciative of this song and imagining mystery as us, not as something separate.
Well, that's really the joy of the songs that I write. I have my own interpretation where it came from and whatnot, but you've taken me to a totally different place with it, and your take on it today in this moment. So I'm going to go with you there to the faculty, who I have been with for many years, and done chapel services with the faculty, and I am amazed with the sermons. I'm so nourished and fulfilled with every service. And I often have I'm left with so many questions after the faculty each one has preached, because they have so much to offer. So normally the routine post-chapel is the person who's delivered the service will come over and thank me. And that's my time that I have all my questions that need to be answered. Again, I feel so blessed that I can spend that 5 minutes and get the questions that I've been left with to explore, answered a little bit. And then my bus ride home, my city bus ride home, my mind just flows from what the faculty has offered. So I like to see where mystery goes, and they have a lot to offer on that. And that isn't where I took the piece. I think of mystery as being everywhere, like spirit among us, within, out, all around. But this song is meant to touch everyone wherever it needs to. And that's where it reached you today.
And I love that image of you leaving chapel on the bus, having spoken about mystery and realizing it's all around us. Thanks.
I began writing this song, I guess, to prove to myself that I could and was capable of writing a song with an upbeat tempo. And then it sat. Until, here at St. Andrew's College, I attended a Music Matters event. And the fire was reignited. To hold one another's hands, to sing one another's songs, to lift one another's lives. Those are all actions to show that we are and or will be united. We are united, living as one in creation, one in community. We are united, living as one in creation, one in diversity. Hearts and hands, creation, one in community. We are united, living as one. One in creation, one in diversity. Love and life, lift one another's lives. We are all one in love. Love and life, lift one another's lives. We are all one in love. We are united, living as one. One in creation, one in community. We are united, living as one. One in creation, one in diversity.
So we are united. As I was listening to that, and as through the lens of the college's life and what it's saying to me right now in this space, again, as the academic year is beginning and we're all sort of coming back and there's that frenetic, excited energy of a new year, I'm reminded that the components of this college are varied. So we have students, which we are here to prepare for leadership. We have tenants who make use of this space for their own vocation, in both whether that's in a faith-based context or if that's in the secular world. And we have staff and faculty, and we also have residents who call this place home.
Yeah.
And thinking about this song, and in particular the line that says, one in creation, one in community. One of the things that I have thinking about the residents in this space is in the reality of COVID arriving in March, was this college had to rally in a way it's never had to do before. Because what does it mean when the world shuts down and we have international students who have nowhere to go?
Oh, yeah.
And the staff and the faculty and the immediate care for these people who are knowledge creators, they are people coming for the first time to do learning. I truly hope that ethos of uniting is something that they experienced as the care and compassion that comes out of this place. So that's where this song took me today.
That's a special place. That's a special part of this place too, is that it does house, it's a home. For many, it was a home for me, and in the early 80s. I lived here in my first year of university when I was studying music performance, and it was home. And it was home for my brother who had come through, and it was home for my sister before me. And so think of how many people have called this home. And yes, we needed to be here for those who lived here, and I'm really hoping that they did feel that. When I wrote this song, I thought of it often within our church, but I also thought of it wider as a global citizen. We are united, and with what's going on with COVID, we need to be united. We need to come together as a globe from one end to the other. And that's why I think I said at the beginning, if we aren't united, we will be. We will need to be. And that's an important part, I think, to know, and to be able to sing We Are is wonderful. And certainly in this college, I feel that. We are natural-born seekers. And yet, I think that maybe some things are left unknown. I think maybe the path on the way of seeking might be more purposeful than the destination. This music waited for many years on its own until I picked up these words on my path. We long to know mystery of life, from where we came and where we'll go. And when we see it's not that far, circle of life, from where we came and where we are. It's when we see that we will find love is the path together in creation kind.
So there's a pretty traditional image in many sanctuaries in the United Church of Jesus coming to the door with a lantern and ready to knock. And the opening stanza, it's when we seek, it's when we ask, it's when we knock, the door will open for us. It is amazing to me, and this connects, I think, with the previous exploration that we were talking about in the mystery, about how people arrive at this place. People arrive at this place, some having had a call their whole life. Others of us, it's been a constant whisper. And others I've met, it's been basically a plank in the back of the head that God says, come on. And as you were singing this song, I keep loving, wanting to know more about the way you ended with the word creation kind. Because that feels like the song doesn't end. It's like a poem that's waiting to be told, which reminds me of every time somebody graduates from this place. When we send them off into ministries of creation kind. And they are, in many ways, the poem that we, as a college, speak out into the world.
The call has always fascinated me. And that's one of the things I love here is when students share and faculty, profs, share how they received the call. I'm very intrigued by that. And at being within the music ministry for so long, that has been a calling for me, music ministry. How I get to creation kind, I don't know if that word even exists. I made it up.
It does now.
For me, it does now. And I just don't want any part of creation to ever be left out. Not even a speck, anywhere. And it's the best word I could come up with to involve every narrative, regardless. And so that's how that word came to be. And love, and you'll notice many of my songs end with love, or love is the path, and that's where it all comes to. And that was a word, creation kind to me was next door to love, to embrace that. But the call has been interesting, and how people receive it, and there are just so many varied ways of call. So it's interesting you brought that up as well. But do you have anything?
No, I think that I'm toying with the word creation kind, and I think it will be an interesting conversation with some of the faculty about theological reflection on the word creation kind and where that takes us. It's pretty exciting.
It's awesome.
This piece was written many years ago for a large gathering of women, and their theme was rainbow. Hope is infinite. if hope could be projected through a rainbow of notes. The rainbow, a color, visual, all-inclusive embrace that offers promises and continues to reappear as a reminder, displaying infinite hope. A symbol of promise that lights up the sky. The beauty we behold is God's color. God's color. Take time to stop and notice all the colors underlined. The rainbow has formed and the storm is left behind. How close the storm and calm are so gently intertwined. Each storm and each rainbow are one of a kind. A symbol of promise that lights up the sky. The beauty we behold is God's color. God's color. The rainbows are a reminder of just how to live each day. Uniting our colors to pave a brighter way. We will be that calm for all, the promise that will stay. We'll be the rainbow, love's color display. A symbol of promise that lights up the sky. The beauty we behold is God's color. God's color. A symbol of promise that lights up the sky. The beauty we behold is God's color. God's color.
I appreciate in God's Color Lullaby it's a deceiving song. It's light, it's almost dancey, and I don't mean this judgmental, but airy. There's a featheriness to it, and yet as when I opened up and welcomed everybody, I'm looking at this tapestry. I'm looking at this stained glass where the sun is shining through, where the rainbows are holding us, and we are a place that prepares leaders to walk into the world bearing rainbows, bearing light. And that's a sacred trust. It's a joyful trust. It's a feathery trust, but it's not an easy one, because we know that people who leave this place are walking into shadows and hurts and pain.
Yes.
And so this song is deceiving because I think it leaves a mark on me about that's how I want to feel when I'm holding somebody's hand and they're on a deathbed. I know that's what I want my minister to be able to do when they walk into a crisis situation and realize, and we'll talk about this in one of your other songs, about letting it go. About, I want to be that presence where I'm not feeling ownership about being God's presence in somebody who's suffering or who's hurting or who's angry at injustice. And so I love this song. It's a feeling that I want to hold on to when I know I walk into those places of shadows. And so I hope it's something we imbue for anybody who comes through this college, to be able to hold on to that when they leave this space, whether that's formal education, continuing education, whether it's faculty who are creating new knowledge, are able to hold on to that space, that lightness.
You know, the simplest note can be the deepest. It's interesting you brought up holding someone's hand on a deathbed and living in the shadows. 1 month ago, I spent 9 days in the hospital holding the hand of a dying family member. And I sang this song and most of the hymn book over that course of time, and my own songs. And the beauty and love we experience together is unfathomable. It was a shadow, but it was also a rainbow and a sunlight. Their simplicity and depth walk hand in hand, I think. And it's kind of like silence and noise. There's a time for both. Yeah, and the rainbow can be, I mean, we're going to have storms and we're going to have rainbows, and I don't think either one is necessarily deeper, or I just think they both bring different things, and maybe to some the same.
Without the storm, we don't see the rainbow. And without the rainbow, sometimes we can't learn from the storm.
That's it.
The purpose of the next song for me was to articulate that we are not alone, no matter what. If we look far and deep and wide, I am hopeful that each of us can feel that we are surrounded by love. My sister Lori shared in writing the words for our younger sister's wedding, and they've since been altered a bit for any occasion in any context. As people searching, we come together, held by prairie sky and land. We gather here with many questions to help us to understand. We are surrounded by love. We are surrounded by love. Surrounded by love. A breath together, a touch of comfort, a healing word and listening ear, supportive gestures, the deep awareness of sharing time together here. We are surrounded by love. We are surrounded by love. Surrounded by love. In times of turmoil, in times of trouble, in times of tension and tears, we know the Spirit is here to hold us this moment and throughout years. We are surrounded by love. We are surrounded by love. Surrounded by love. As people listening and people learning, we journey forward day by day, knowing the spirit of life and laughter will guide us along the way. We are surrounded by love. We are surrounded by love. Surrounded by love. We are surrounded by love. We are surrounded by love. Surrounded by love.
So this song, what I like, what draws me about this song in this conversation we're having with your music is it almost feels like a companion piece to Saskatchewan.
Oh, that's
So
interesting.
Saskatchewan starts specifically about Saskatchewan and celebrates the beauty, as we've talked about, and how this province's geography has shaped, in many ways, this college's response theologically in the world. This college's response to the need for ministry when there is none, the response to recognizing the leadership that is equal and shared with women. This college that continues to endeavor to be a place that's affirming, that sees the rainbow, embracing everybody. And then this song takes that particularity of the province, for me, and so it starts with held by prairie, sky, and land. But in the second last verse, it starts talking about turmoil and trouble and tears and tension, things we can't hide from, and things we shouldn't hide from. And so I think about the students who have to do their CPE courses here, who have done them, where you have to dig really deep to know your stuff. Because if you don't know your stuff as somebody who's answered a call to leadership in the world, it's really easy to confuse it with someone else's stuff. And when that confusion happens, people get hurt. And so this song, Surrounded by Love, just reminds me of that process of self-knowing for a learner, about how do you differentiate your ego, which can get in the way, and your confidence, where you can hear things or be challenged and learn from it. And so Surrounded by Love is that piece that we are always surrounded by love. And if we can hold on to that, we can hear horrors and pain and suffering, and we can also let go of ours, so that we can be that blessed community of love.
Right. And we ourselves have to know we're surrounded by love and have our own supports in place. That's so true. And I have taken classes in St. Andrews. I am a continuing education student. And that's a lovely program, by the way, that's been set up in the last couple of years. I think it's one or two, two maybe. And fantastic. I couldn't recommend it more. It's great to be a continuing ed student and to be able to audit classes and sit amongst the students and hear all the varied responses and discussion is so enhancing for me.
You know what? I don't mean to interrupt you, Tannis, but faculty are going to be extremely excited because they consider you in many ways the star child of what this program can be.
That is so nice. Appreciate that. That makes me feel surrounded by love.
Yeah, well, you're not getting an A for that, by the way.
Yeah, well, the neat thing about that continuing ed program is that we aren't marked. There's no number attached. It's all a learning process and growing. And that's what I really like about it on the chapter I'm in right now. That's important to me because that's what I want, is just to continue to learn and to also surround others with love on their journey. That's also part of it.
There comes a time when we just need to let go. Let go of regrets, of thoughts, of pain. And I wrote this piece when in the midst of pain, which I needed to let go. And this song is dedicated to all who have experienced physical or mental pain, burnout, exhaustion, or can't get rid of those thoughts. Sometimes we need to give ourselves permission to release in order to reset and recharge, to repair and refresh, to restore and recreate. Sometimes we just need to let go. Not forever, but to just rest our bodies and our minds. Just let it go, wherever it needs to go. Just let it go, however it goes. Just let it go. No need to hold on. Just need to let go. Oh, let go. And when you think that you're not heard, just let it go. When you are tired, can't find the words, just let it go. When you've done all you can do, nothing's changed and nothing's new. Just need to let go. Oh, let go. And when you've said all you can say, just let it go. When you're just living day to day, just let it go. When you've done your very best and still you've been put through the test, just need to let go. Oh, let go. And when you feel misunderstood, just let it go. When what's to come's not looking good, just let it go. When you're scared and so unsure, and the pain's hard to endure, just need to let go. Oh, let
So if Saskatchewan song has a counterpart, I think the counterpart to this one is the lullaby song that you played previously. If that one was light and airy and feathery, something to hold on to in those places, this is one that's deep and meaty. There's a richness in this song as I'm imagining our time coming to an end, as I'm imagining all of the various things that the college does. Holding residents who are preparing in other forms of study, faculty who are in those places of scholarship and academic learning, students who are preparing to leave this space to go out into the world we've talked about, to be leaders. And the quintessential task, I think, of a healthy leader is to be able to let it go. To recognize what's not ours and what's creators, to recognize how we are those who bear light into the world requires us to know when to walk away from our own stuff, from other spaces. And also, and what I really liked in the song is the part where it's not, I think it's in the song or it's in your introduction, it's not about leaving it. It's about either waiting to come back to it. It's either about preparing to be prepared to pick it up when we're not. And so I'm thinking, even as I'm saying that, so what does social justice mean? What does advocacy mean for those who are called to let it go? And I don't think it's an invitation to acquiesce our responsibility. I think this is an invitation to say, when you know what you have to hold on to it really well and be the bearer of that light. And sometimes it's time to pass it on or to let it go. And there's also a whole bunch of other stuff in here about our own stuff as children of God and the hurts we carry and the pieces in a world that judges us for so many things, that we need to let that stuff go so we can shine. So yeah, this song, Just Let It Go, I think feels like a really good way for this conversation for us to end and pause until the next time, for me.
Yes, and I want to stress that letting go is not forever. And there's no time limit. The let it go is so that we can thrive and that we can be our best living selves in community and alone and with others or not, and wherever we are. But to know when to let go and for how long or how short a time is important, and how to let go is important too. There's so many angles here, but I do want to stress it's not a let go forever. We come back to things or we don't, but we need to be very discerning, and we need to take care of ourselves, and we need to take care of each other, and we need to be there to take care of all of creation. And I feel that sometimes we just need to know when to let go of some things to get there.
So as we prepare to let go of this time together, I'm thinking of the people who are watching this right now. I'm thinking of where they're at. I'm certain there's joys and celebrations. I'm certain there's pain and hurts. And so I hope that this time of us together in these conversations has allowed for both entertainment, but also space for reflection, space to perhaps hear something new, or perhaps to spark conversations in their own families and homes. And so it's been, and it is always a blessing to sit with your music at that intersection where learning and the academy meet the arts. Because I think those two aspects of our being always have to be in conversation. One without the other is not healthy. And so Christian chapels, faith communities of different traditions, music and art have always been part of the way we learn. And so I thank you for your sharing today.
Thank you. It's been a blessing to be able to share with all of you this music, as I do in the chapel services here in this space on a regular basis. And I hope you can take the words and the music and let it inspire you to reflect or engage or go out with something new and something meaningful for yourself.
God's words need a voice. Maybe we're going to do that over again, because that didn't work very well.
That because, sorry. I like what he said, I just need to respond to it.
I'm going to hold on that you agree with me. I hope that doesn't become a rare thing in the next 9 conversations.
Because I sort of drifted off, sorry.
How about fake news? Do you think we
Fake
can talk about
news, that's the theme of what's going on right now.
Is that good?
Spring of 2018, here.
Wow, that was quite the spring because the sirens are rolling.
Thank you.
No, look at that. Let's do that again.
In the path on the way to. Oh, sorry, I gotta do this.
We should have had that on tape.
I think it is on tape. I think everything's on tape right now. So I think, yeah, so. And do you want me to do the shtick?